Hello everyone, my name is Richmond and I welcome you to another session on the Scratch Junior application. In our previous session, we spoke about the event blocks under the Scratch Junior application, spoke about the various event blocks that we have and also their functions and how they trigger any block to be executed. If you missed that particular tutorial, you can get the link in the description below so that you can watch it and catch up with us. In today's tutorial, we'll be talking about the next palette, which is the motions palette, and all the blocks under the motions palette and their functions as well. But before we get into that, if you're a new viewer, I would always encourage you to subscribe to this channel and also turn on your notification bell so that you'll be the first to be notified when I release any new video. Without wasting much time, let's get into today's tutorial. Alright, so I'm going to click on this home to open the project. Now, if you've been following this particular session, we've been always working on the project one. But in case you want to create a new project, you can just click on this plus button here to create a whole new project. But for the sake of this session, I'm going to continue with the project we were working on in our previous sessions. So I will just click on it and it will load for me. All right. So as you can see, this was where we ended the last time talking about the event blocks, these are the event blocks we spoke about. I'm going to clear all these code we have here and move on with the next block. All right. So this is our stage or our background or backdrop, and this is our first character here, the dog, and the next character we have the rabbit. Because I want to program the dog at this point, I would select the dog. As you can see, that is what I have selected. In case you want to program the rabbit, you can do so by selecting the rabbit here and writing the code here for the rabbit. But in this tutorial, I'll be just focusing on the dog and not the rabbit. All right. So these are the various motion blocks that we have. We have the move right, we have the move left, we have the move up, move down, turn right, turn left, hop, and go home. Right, so these are the various motion blocks or the various blocks we have under the motions palette. All right, and as you can see, all these blocks are what we call stack blocks, right? So they can't be executed without an event. Like I said, in order to get any stack block to be executed, in our previous session, I made mention of we having the event that triggers these blocks to be executed. For the sake of this tutorial, I'll pick just the first event, which is start on green flag. So this means that whenever I want to start any of the blocks I have connected to this event to be executed, or I want to run any of the blocks I have connected to this block, I need to click on the green flag, and that is the event I have given or the condition. All right, so let's start with the first block we have here, which is the move right block. So this is the move right block, as you can see, and I'll drag and drop it to the event block. If you drag it and drop it to any empty space, you don't have it connected to the event block, and therefore it's not going to be triggered once you click on the event, or once that particular event condition has been achieved, it won't execute that block. You need to have it connected to the block or the event in order to get it executed once the event has been triggered. And as you can see, I'm clicking on the green flag, but the character is not moving. Why? Because I don't have the move right connected to the event block. So let's take note of that. If you take a good look at the move right block, it just have an icon or an image on it that indicates that the character is going to move right, towards the right on the stage. Okay, and it has this portion here where you can change the number. Okay, so this is more or less like how far you want the character to move right in this case, or the distance you want the character to move. Okay, and currently it's set to 1, and 1 would let the character move for a particular distance. If you increase it, it's going to increase the distance the character is going to move. So I'm going to start with the normal one here, and I will run it, then we'll compare its difference when I change the value here. So let me run this now. So I'm running it. So as you can see, the character move right within the distance 1. Okay, there is no value really attached to this, it's just 1. And what you need to know is, as you increase the value, the more the distance, or the greater the distance the character is going to cover. All right, so let me run it again. I'll reset the stage and run it again. And as you can see, the character move for 1. All right, now supposing I have it 2, okay, that means the character should move more distance. And as you can see, that was what just happened. Okay, twice the distance it covered for the 1 will be for the 2. All right. Now, what if I make it 10? That is where you see the difference very well and understand the concept of the value over here. Now, this is going to make the character move, but within the distance 10. That is very large, right? So the character should cover more distance in this case. So if I click on this green flag, you can see the character covering the distance from 1 to 10. Okay. All right, so once this is clear, let's move on to the next block. If you understand this concept, I mean this first concept with the move right block, the rest is going to be very easy for you to understand. Okay, so the next block we have here is the move left, which is just the opposite of the move right. So supposing I have the character somewhere here, let me just position the character here. Because I'm going to move left, I want the character to move towards the side, so to create space for that. And let me make this value, let's say 5, or let's say let me make it 9. All right, so the character is going to move back or move towards the left on the backdrop or the stage for the distance 9. And if I click on the green flag, the character just do that. And as you can see, the character just performed that. If I want to reset it once again, I can do that by clicking on the reset and then running it again. Okay, the next block, which is the move up block, makes the character move towards the top of the stage. So let me bring the character to the center so that we see that very well. So I'm going to maintain the 1 and run it so that we all see the difference. All right, so I click on the green flag to trigger the move up block, and the character moves up 1. If I run it again, you can see it clearly. Now if I change the value to, let's say 5, that means the character should cover more distance towards the top or in the up direction. All right, so I'm going to run it, and as you can see, the character covered more distance as compared to the 1. All right, the next block we are going to talk about is the move down. All right, so the move down is also going to let the character move towards the down of the stage. All right, so if I click on that, supposing I have the character here and I want it to come down, I click on the green flag and the character moves down. I can reset it and increase the value to, let's say 7 or 8, and the character should cover more distance with the move down. All right, so that is for the move down block as well. The next block is the turn right. All right, so this block would make the character turn clockwise, in other words turn right. Okay, so if I put in a large value here, this is going to determine the angle at which the character is going to turn towards the right. Okay, whether 1 or more is going to determine how far or what distance the character should move in turning the right. Okay, so if I run, let me run the basic one here and we see the difference. Okay, so let me bring the character here and run it so that we see it well. Okay, so as you can see, the character has covered a particular distance towards the right. Okay, Let me do it again. All right. So if I reset this and I set the number to, let's say, 5, that means I want it to cover more distance towards the right. I mean, when turning right. So as you can see, that was what the character just did. Okay, I can reset it by clicking here again. And if I make the number 10, I want it to cover more distance. All right, let me just reset it and we move on to the next block. So the move left is basically the opposite of the move right, right? So the move left is going to turn the character anti-clockwise or counter-clockwise. So as you can see, if I run it here, it turns towards the left and or towards the anti-clockwise direction. If I increase the value to 10 and reset the stage and run it again, it's going to cover more distance towards the left or anti-clockwise direction. Then we have the last but one block, which is the hop. Okay, this block actually makes the character move up and down, up and down. All right, it's just explaining itself with its name. Okay, so that is indirectly going to make the character hop. So if I run this, see the character hopped, and if I increase the value, that will determine the height in which the character would hop. Okay, so the greater the value, the greater the height the character would achieve in hopping. So if I make it 7, the character hops high and comes down. All right, so that is the hop block. Now, before I explain the go home block, let me explain something here with these blocks. And this is what I'm going to term as the structure of the program or structure of the program execution. Okay, so how is the program going to be executed in Scratch Junior? Now, the program starts executing right from the event. Okay, so once the event is achieved, it's going to execute the blocks connected to that particular event from the left to the right. Okay, and cases where there is a control structure, that is when there will be an interference in the normal flow of the program. And with that, you can have the program running from the left to the right and back to the left again and moving on to the right for some time before moving on. But without control structures to interfere the normal flow of the program, just note that in Scratch Junior, the programs run from the left of the blocks that you have connected to that particular event you want to trigger those blocks to be executed. It will run it from the left or the first block on the left to the last block on the right. So in that order. So for instance, if I have this move left, move right, move left, move up, and move down. So let's say I have 5 here. I have 5 here. I have 5 here and 5 here. All what I'm saying is that if the event, which is the green flag, when green flag is clicked, is met or is triggered, the first block to be executed is move right for 5. After executing this, it should move left for 5. After executing that, it should move up for 5. And after executing that, it will move down for 5. Okay, so it runs from the left to the right. Okay, through to the right. That is what I want you to understand in the program flow. So let's run this and see how the character moves. Moves right, move left, up and down. And that is how the program is going to flow. So supposing I position this character here, okay, and I make this 7 and delete this one. So this is basically based on what I've explained earlier. It's going to move the character towards the right, towards the left, and up, right. Now once it moves it up, that is where the program ends and the character is going to stay there. Now look at the positioning of the character when I start the program. I'm going to use that to explain the go home block. Look at the home of the character. I mean, where the character is going to start executing the program, the position of the character on the stage when the program starts executing. Now, once the program is done executing, the position of the character is going to change. All right, the position of the character is going to change, and let's look at that. So if I press this, move right, move left, and it will move up. So look at the position of the character in this case. Let me reset it and let me make this one 3 and this one 8. So let's try it one last time. So we move right, we move left, and we move up. So the character started from this position and now it has ended here. So if I reset this character and I bring the go home block to this, that means after executing move right for 8, move left for 3, move up for 5, the last thing to be executed is to send the character home, as in the position of the character before the program started execution. All right, so let's take note of this positioning here. This is the original position of the character where I have positioned the character on the backdrop or on the stage. Once I start execution, the position of the character is going to change. Now, once I'm done executing it, I want to execute this block, which is the go home block, which sends the character back to its original position. So let's see. Move right, move left, up, and then it comes back to where it started. Okay, I hope this is clear and this is understandable. Supposing I have this block not connected to the whole code, let's see where the character will end up being. So as you can see, this is where it ended up being. But once we wanted it to come back to where it started after the program execution, that is why we added this block. Okay, so if I run it one last time, move right, move left, up, and then reset or go home. And that is what you can see here. Okay, so this brings us to the end of today's tutorial. I hope you learned something new. If you did, kindly leave a like to encourage me to do more videos of this kind. And in our next session, we'll be talking about the looks palette. I mean the blocks in the looks palette, where we have the say block, the grow block, the shrink block, the reset size block, hide, and also the show block. All right, without wasting much time, I will say bye bye for now and see you in the next tutorial. Thank you.